Homesteading is a lifestyle choice. Whether you have a large or small space, you can move towards self-sufficiency. Start with what you need and add more as you can. Start small and grow in confidence. Start with the basics and increase your knowledge. At Bryant's Roost, we believe in sustainability, education, and forward momentum. Follow us on our journey for tips, hacks, and insights. We can grow together.
These brooders are amazing. I couldn't be happier with this company.
We absolutely love these cages.
One at a time, okay, guys? Hey guys, welcome to Coturnix Corner Live. Glad everyone could join us today. I know it's been a while, guys, since we've gone live, and I apologize for that, but I got sick a month ago or so, and I've had this terrible cough that just keeps lingering and lingering, and it's not real enjoyable when you're trying to talk and you start hacking. But today we got a really great show lined up for you guys. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this episode because we've got some really neat stuff being announced. Also joining us is my brother-in-law, Maury Straubel. He's out of Michigan. He breeds quail up there also. And of course, you know, Rebecca Lynch from Thieving on her farm is with us today too. And we're going to bring her out in a second. I just need to go through some real quick announcements. It may be a little bit goofy here, guys, because my wife kind of stole my computer room from me and turned it into a bedroom. So now I'm out in my shop with my laptop trying to do this. So let me see if I can find this. Shout out to our 2024 channel sponsors. We have Hatching Time, Thieving Otter Farm, Gopher Ridge Quail, and Bryant's Roost. And all these guys do a lot of giveaways on the channel, so that is very much appreciated. And also today we are going to be announcing the winner of the Coturnix Kids project, which was actually supposed to be announced at the beginning of the month. But like I said, we missed a few of the live streams. So we are going to go ahead and announce that today, and I'll do that in just a second. If you guys are available on Sundays, hopefully from here on out, I'll be able to make the morning musings. I haven't done a morning musings in the past couple weeks also because of this crazy little cough thing I got going on, but we plan on starting back this coming Sunday. So check us out for that. I think that's about it. It's kind of hard for me to do it because I don't have my Stream Deck set up today, and I can't find it. Let me look over there and see if there's anything I need. No, I don't think so. Okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and announce the Coturnix Kids program winner, and then we're going to bring Rebecca on, and she's got a really big surprise for you guys. So the winner of this month's Coturnix Kids program is Ayla. She is 6 years old. Let me go ahead and read what she wrote. She had a nice long little write-up here. It says, I'm 6, holds up 6 fingers enthusiastically. I help my mommy with all our animals every day. I like petting my rabbits and my micro squirrels. I have my own quail named Pecky Becky. She's my favorite, even though she likes to try and eat my fingers. I named 3 others after Honey Heart C, or Honey Heart C, I guess it is, a YouTuber. I don't really like cleaning cages, but I don't want anyone to get sick, so I help. Today we had a bunch of quail hatch. It makes me happy. I get sad when mommy has to make some of the food, but I like eating them. Oh, make some into food, but I like eating them. She says she is going to teach me, but I don't know how. Looks at me terrified. I like to help mommy cook and learn about all our animals. I will be sad to sell them, but happy we can have more babies like Quail because they are so cute. And I like to sing to Pecky Becky when we watch shows together. She has babies now. Maybe we can keep all of hers. I like to take my teacher and Pawpaw quail eggs. My Pawpaw is sick and lost half his brain. My dad has cancer and had a portion of his brain removed. Sorry to hear that. He is in remission and doing well. They don't like chicken eggs, but Pawpaw will eat them if I bring them. So I do because he's skinny and needs to get big like Daddy. Quail eggs are really good for you, I think. They taste good when Mommy makes them for me. I like them boiled. I like helping with everything because it makes my heart feel good when I can make someone happy, even if it's just my mommy. Thanks, kid. We are going to make bread today and start some seeds. I just want watermelon, but we have to grow vegetables too. It's okay because I can share them with my bunnies. I'm going to stop her here because we'll be typing forever. Thank you. Ayla, that is amazing. Great little write-up. Here's some more pictures here of Ayla with her quail, with a little pony, it looks like, and her bunny, and I think that's her dog there. So Ayla, thank you very much for your subscription or your submission. You are going to get a whole bunch of prizes in the mail, and they will probably start here in the next week or so. You're going to get a cage from Hatching Time. You're going to get a bag of feed from Homestead Harvest. You're going to get an incubator from Brian's Roost, Tractor Supply gift certificate. You're going to get some waters, feeders, and egg scissors from Sunny Place Homestead. You're going to get a Coturnix Corner or a Coturnix Kids tumbler from Coturnix Corner, and you're going to get some very special hatching eggs from Thieving Otter Farm. So keep an eye on your mailbox, and you should see some of that stuff start to show up. And again, thank you very much, Ayla, for your submission. We all enjoyed it very much. All right, that's out. I think about everything that I need to go over with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guest, Rebecca Lynch from Thieving Otter Farm. Welcome, Rebecca. Glad you could join us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So are you going to tell us what all these S's stand for and what the surprise is?
I sure am. Well, we're going to talk all about it tonight.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and we'll get started on that because I can see there's already quite a few questions coming in. So I think we're going
Sure.
to be busy tonight. You want the screen share up now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, so as Terry mentioned,
Hold on one second, Rebecca. Can I put a camera of you up there? Hold on. Wrong. Oh, what did I do? Hold on, guys. Sometimes it takes me a minute to get things right. That shouldn't bother it too much, should it?
no, that'll be fine.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So as Terry mentioned, we're going to be talking about a whole lot of S's tonight. And right now, we're actually talking about 5 S's. We have the spring super secret special surprise or super secret surprise selection. So yeah, I think I wrote super twice on that one on that screen. I didn't notice until now, but so we've got an extra S. Anyway, so what is the super secret surprise selection? I got silly one day and decided to start a Facebook group where we would do silly fun things like quail poop bingo and dance offs and have a super secret surprise selection. And what that is I was asking people to trust me a little bit. And I am Thieving Otter Farm, so you had to trust me a lot. But I wanted to know if people would be daring enough to purchase eggs without knowing what they were, with the promise that they would be something really, really cool, something different, something that it would be worth spending their money on. So before we start talking about that, I want to explain quail poop bingo because I'm sure there's a lot of people that went quail poop bingo. What's that? So, in the super secret special selection Facebook group, we have monthly Quail Poop Bingo contests. And I have a master board with 64 numbers on a grid. And each person writes out, comes to the game. It's live and they come with their own bingo card with a 5x5 grid, and they randomly put numbers 1 through 64 on there. And I put a bunch of quail down on my master grid, and wherever those quail poop, whatever number they happen to poop on is the number that the participants mark off on their bingo sheets. So we play 3 rounds and have prizes and lots of fun. So that's one of the silly things that we do in the group. But the best and most fun part is, of course, the super secret surprise selection. So this past fall, if you've heard of this group or if you've participated, you know that it was ginger. And so I was posting lots of AI pictures and other pictures as hints as to what it was. So here's an otter wearing a ginger sweater. And it turns out that the secret selection that everybody got was the ginger collection. So that's one of the ginger birds. So now it is spring. So we have the 5 S's. We have the spring super secret surprise selection. And it's time to talk about what that is. So this is the big reveal. And first, I want to say thank you to the people who made this happen. So this big secret selection was an import from another country. And I did not make this import. William Carl Foster brought it to this country first and shared it with Michael Rose from Southwest Game Birds, who then shared it with me. So if it wasn't for William Carl Foster and Michael Rose, I would not be able to share this with you as I have. So before I say anything else, I just want to say thank you to those people. All right, so let's talk about those AI pictures that I used as hints to people in the group. And I'm going to show a bunch of those AI pictures and see if you guys at home can maybe figure out what the super secret surprise selection is. So I started out with some like this, and you may start seeing a theme. So, of course, we're Thieving Otter Farm, so we'd like to post pictures of Slinky, our otter. We actually do have a real live river otter, a whole family of them actually, that steal fish from our pond. So that's where we got our name, Thieving Otter Farm, because we have otters. We also happen to have emus. And so I started incorporating those emus into this collection for a very particular reason. So they're part of the hint. And, people in the group just weren't quite getting it with those hints. So I tried a different tactic. And so this was the first AI picture I shared that went a different direction. So you guys at home can see if you can see what significance this is here. And that wasn't quite good enough for some people, so we added this. And this definitely got some people, figuring it out. And then finally, I had to go with this. So, drum roll from our Slinky Otter. The new super secret surprise selection is the Thieving Emu collection, which came from Australia. And it is actually not just one color. The main color is Oz Snowy, but there is also a number of other genes involved too. So here is a picture of an Oz Snowy that is also heterozygous for sparkly, so one copy of the sparkly gene, and also fawn. So this is an Oz Snowy sparkly fawn. This is a rooster. And here's a picture of the first Oz collection chicks that I hatched. So you'll see that there are all kinds of chicks in there, all different colors and stuff. From this, I got Oz Snowy. I got some Splash. Um, I got different variants of Oz Snowy. There were sparkly. There were fawn. There were wild type. I got some Tibetans, tuxedo. I got all kinds of good stuff. So here's another picture of some of those chicks. And here are a picture, a couple of juveniles. So we have a wild type and a sparkly, I believe. And this is what a wild type Oz Snowy rooster looks like. Okay. They're just a beautiful diluted bird. And here's another view. Just really, really pretty birds. And here's a hen. You see they still are feather sexable with the spots on the front of the hen. And here's a picture of the back of a Oz Snowy wild type. Now, the cool thing about Oz Snowy with fawn is that the hens and roosters look different. So you still have the fawn patterning, but it dilutes each of the birds differently. Okay, so this is a hen, and you see it almost looks like Fee, but not quite. And this is a rooster. So it's really cool. They have the diluted coloring, but the markings are red instead of that dark gray. So here's a side by side picture, and you can really see the difference in those. It's really pretty. This one is a heterozygous sparkly Oz Snowy hen. And there's a back picture. And a picture of the front. And here's a picture of the sparkly fawn. I just love those spots. And then this is a young Oz Snowy Tibetan. It's kind of in the middle of the juvenile molt, so it's a little rough looking. But this is one of the first ones I've produced, so it's still, I don't have any like adult pictures. And here's a close up of the back of one of them. So I'm offering these as a full collection. Terry, that's my last picture if you want to go back to the main screen.
Okay, I had myself muted, so you couldn't
Yeah,
hear
no
our
problem.
fan. Okay, cool. Those are very awesome.
Yeah, so this is going to be a full collection.
Mhm.
Let me spread my screen out here so I can see the rest of what's going on here. And so there's actually a chance of splash in these. Splash is recessive, and I'm just now starting to pull it out. I got a couple of them in the beginning, and I'm now pairing them up and getting more of them, but I have seen some people hatch them out at home. There are calico. I've actually found some blue in there as well. And there's some talk about there potentially being a slightly different version of blue in Australia. So I'm looking to do some test breeding to see if that's different than ours. So there's all kinds of different stuff floating around in these, and it's been a lot of fun to work with them.
Right, yeah, I can imagine. Are you still working on back orders, or are you caught up enough to where you can order them from you guys on the website, or?
They can be ordered on the website, but I am still I've still got a bit of a wait for them because they were, of course, really popular. So of course, now that people know what they are, I'm sure
You're definitely going to be jumping on them. No, that is so
right.
cool. So do you know the time frame of when William got them, and then when Michael got them, and when you got them?
I want to say, and I think William is watching right now, so he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say it was back in 2020. So they haven't been in the US for very long. I've had them for, I think, about a year.
Really?
So they're still fairly new to me as well.
Sweet. Yeah, I've heard so much about them from Tamara, and it's cool that we got them now.
Yeah, yeah, they're a really nice color to work with.
Have you seen any pictures on Facebook of people that have started hatching them out from the eggs that you've sent out?
Yes, yes.
They're hatching.
Patrick Keeney won an auction, and part of the fun part of the auction was he had to have his shipped out a week before everybody else.
Okay.
And so he's posting some pictures. His are already a week or two old, and has been posting pictures in the group of his youngsters. And
Nice.
everybody else is hatching theirs out. Patrick had I believe it was an 82% hatch rate,
Really?
and somebody else had a 100% hatch rate on their surprise selection eggs. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. Um, did anybody figure it out prior to the announcement, or by
They
hatching them
did.
out, they knew what they were?
They figured it out before I shipped them out. And the really cool thing about this group is that everybody, even if they figured it out, they were really good about not letting the surprise out. So, they would maybe post, "Hey, if you really want to know, message me and I'll tell you what my idea is," or whatever. But they really did a great job of keeping it a surprise for everybody. Now,
Cool.
at the very end, after, I said, "All right, guys, let's share some AI versions of what you think it is." Then people knew, and they had a lot of fun creating
Right.
some very interesting Wizard of Oz themed otter and emu pictures.
I saw a few of them.
Yeah, it was fun. So yeah,
Why do I have
people
two of you on here? Sorry about that.
there we
I didn't know. I didn't even notice it down there.
go. But yeah, it's a really fun group.
Sure.
We're not afraid to be silly, not afraid to be fun, and especially with that quail poop bingo. It's,
I actually watched it last week or the week before. It was kind
yeah,
of interesting. Cool.
yeah.
Um,
People have a great time.
okay. One thing I want to do real quick before we jump over into the questions. Every week, we've been trying to do a farm intro, and I'm going to put my brother-in-law on the spot and let him go ahead and tell us a little bit about what he's got going on up there in Michigan and what he's doing with the quail and whatnot. So, Maury, go ahead.
Now I got about 150 quail. Just breeding them and pretty much selling eggs.
Do you have a farm name?
West Michigan quail.
Awesome. Do you specialize in any particular variety?
No, not right now. Just kind of playing around and
Oh, I think it's
What's your best egg sales?
to
Who are your best customer egg sales wise?
to the Asian market.
Yeah. I called up and I told her send my sister down to the Asian market with some eggs and give them to him and give him a business card. Before she got home, he already had an order for quail eggs.
Yep, I give her money to get her nails done and a bag of quail eggs and send her on her way.
Cool. All right, let's go ahead and see what kind of questions we got for Rebecca today. Guys, I'm not going to read every question. Rebecca, seeing as how you want to let them know what you're doing for a giveaway today? I know you told me, but you want to let everybody hear now?
yeah. So the giveaway tonight is going to be a 30 count of the super secret surprise selection. So the Thieving Emu collection.
There you go. Cool. So guys, I'm going to let Rebecca pick the winner. So usually we end up selecting someone who's come up with a really good question. But but Rebecca will be in charge of that tonight. So, and that's the only giveaway that we're doing tonight. Let's see. Emma Ball's in the house. It's good evening, everyone. So glad to be here tonight. Been waiting all week. I know a lot of people have. I hope you're feeling much better, Terry. Good evening, Rebecca. Brooke says our first SSSS hatched out just now, just in time. LOL. All right. I'm not even going to ask those questions. Samantha says, I suck at guessing clues, so I'm excited to hear the reveal results. Rebecca says, oh, the suspense is giving me palpitations. In-Law Acres says, my first Thieving Otter Farm 30-count variety eggs are hatching today. So fun.
Awesome. I hope you have a great hatch.
There's William. Said, who's late, you two or me?
I thought I saw him in here.
Yeah, probably we were. We had a little bit of technical difficulties getting started, but nothing too terrible. All right, where do we get down here? GSK Quails has 8 super, all those S's week olds. I still can't figure out what that is. I mean, I know what it is when you say it, but
S
I
cubed.
can't say it. I get tongue-tied. Emma Ball says, I'm so excited for you guys that have this new line. I'm in the UK and watching on with joy for you all. So, Rebecca, do you know where the Oz Snowies are available worldwide? Is it just the US now and Australia, or other countries also?
I know that it was imported into the UK about the same time that it was here. But as far as I know, it was kind of lost there. I think the people who had them stopped raising them. But I don't know that for sure. So I know that Martin Yardley had some, and somebody else as well. I know Martin, of course, no longer has Quail, but something tells me that they're not really floating around.
Gotcha.
But I am hoping to, I'm going to start exporting to Canada this spring.
Oh, really?
And yeah, once I get, anytime I try something new, it's always a little nerve wracking,
Sure.
causes a little anxiety. And once I do that, I go, oh, this isn't so scary after all, then I'm going to look into shipping other places.
Is it really worth the extra cost to ship like up to Canada? Or?
Honestly, Canada isn't that hard at all.
Really?
I have to have a full farm health visit. They have to come and look at everything here on the farm and get a health certificate that lasts for 30 days. And then, of course, be MPIP and up on that testing,
Right.
which I am. And that's about all that Canada requires. Other countries are different, and some of them, like Australia, there's no way. It actually costs hundreds of millions of dollars to export to Canada or to Australia. So
Wow.
won't be doing that anytime soon.
Yeah, right? Okay, Savage Daughter Farms and Houses. Hello, everyone. So excited for tonight. Savage Daughter Farm is the mother of Ayla, the winner of our Coturnix Kids project. So congrats
Awesome.
again on that. Yep. Lavith, I don't know how to say it, but got some Thieving Otter Farms eggs in the incubator now and more on the way. Laviathan? I don't know. Gina Bennett says, question, how and with what do you guys clean your incubators and brooders with, and how often?
So I use an incubator and a hatcher. My incubator stays pretty clean because all that's ever in them is eggs. And I pretty much have that running all the time. So I don't usually clean that out unless I need to. My hatcher, on the other hand, when those chicks hatch, it gets, there's that chick down everywhere and all that stuff. So I clean that out usually using Otoban and sometimes Lysol. Nothing special. Brooders are pretty much the same way. I don't do a super deep clean on the brooders other than poop trays and wiping things down a little bit.
Yeah, same here, pretty much same. William talking to Emma says they were sent to the UK as well. Anita Garrett's in the house. Says, hey, everyone. Hello, Anita. Let's see. Not talking to me. Uh-oh. We all know who the boss is. Your wife.
She's not here.
And she's not here right now. Olive says, question, how can I utilize my quail's poop as fertilizer in my garden?
Well, the big thing is that with quail and chicken manure, you need to let it compost down first. If you put it directly onto your garden, it'll actually burn your plants. So you're going to want to look into composting it for, I've heard, about a year before you put it on your garden.
Okay, let's see. Ayla says, thank you so much, everyone. Absolutely, and thank you, Ayla.
She's adorable.
Yeah, she was a cutie.
And a shout out to Savage Daughter Farm because she donates.
Perfect name for a farm too.
Yeah, love it. She donates quail egg scissors to our quail poop bingo winners.
Oh,
So
cool.
really great. We've got some great sponsors that donate prizes.
Right. Sarah says, hi, I finally get to put a face to the name. Hello, Rebecca. Oh, cool. She took a video of, it's a reaction video of Ayla, posted it to Coturnix Corner Facebook. That'll be cool to see.
Awesome.
Just been born says, question, if you can only afford to invest in one of these at a time until you can build up a business, which order do you suggest investing in? The best feed, incubator, cage, or brooder?
Well, it'd be a toss up between, I would probably say feed, honestly. Having been friends with a poultry nutritionist, Jeff Maddox, for a while, I believe in feeding good feed. You're going to get healthier birds and better hatch rates just by feeding better feed. Next on that would be an incubator, because you're going to get back your money with better hatch rates. You're going to kind of get back that investment pretty quick with a good incubator. I couldn't believe how much better my hatch rates were when I started when I gave up those cheap Amazon ones and went to a really nice hatching time cabinet incubator.
Yeah, I mean, feed is definitely important. I mean, you can always get a few to hatch even out of a poor incubator, but if you're not going to feed them right, they're not going to do well. So
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Let's see. Brooke says my snowy collection is currently hatching as we speak. Cool.
Yay.
Ashley says gorgeous. Will Splash be available sometime soon?
Splash are actually added into the collection. So what I've got a fairly good group of English whites. I know Splash is in there with the English whites. So I'm isolating a few and trying to hatch more. As I hatch more, I'll add more. But for right now, some lucky people are getting them.
Here's a good question here, Rebecca. Andrew wants to know, are there any potential challenges or considerations people should know about when working with this new line?
No, there's no worries like with the Andalusians or silvers. There's no lethal genes or anything like that. They're super healthy. The only thing now, going back early on, there was a post from Tamara Rousel.
Rizzo?
Yeah, and she sorry. But she was mentioning that there might be a slightly lower hatch rate with the fawn versions of Oz Snowy. I haven't really seen that here, but I also hatch out, a very large group of, kind of the whole collection at a time. So that would be about the only thing I can think of.
Jesse Ben Born says, how many different types did you get?
Different variations. I got Oz Snowy, Splash, um, Oz Snowy English White, Oz Snowy Sparkly, Oz Snowy Calico, um, and there's the possibility of Sandy in there as well. I've been trying to do some test breeding, if I see a bird that might look sandy, trying to pull that out. Haven't found it yet, but it may be in there. And then I've found blue in there as well. So quite a few. I may have forgotten, I know I got Tibetan and Tibetan tuxedo. So there's quite a few that were in that first group that I got.
Okay, Bob Cole says, how big are they, and are they considered jumbos yet?
They're large standard. They're not yet jumbo. I am working on a couple of jumbo lines, but they're not ready yet.
Okay. Jesse Ben Born says, how long did it take you to get this collection completed?
Well, luckily the collection came to me as a collection. The only thing that I've added to it, when I originally got it, I didn't have any Oz Snowy EB, so no Oz Snowy Rosetta or Tibetan. And so I've been working on that and working on a jumbo line. And then pulling out the Splash. So I've had them for, I'm guessing, around a year. And, I'm still working on them. Still working to pull out, what's in them.
Gotcha. Is just off the top of my head, is there a super secret summer collection coming out?
Not summer, but I'm toying around with the idea of maybe doing a fall egg or possibly live bird super secret selection. The bad thing about the live bird is that as soon as the first person opens their box, then the surprise is over. So I'd have to be ready to ship a whole lot at the same time to have as much fun,
Right. See, Andrew says, have you noticed a big difference in egg production with these birds, or a difference in egg production?
No, they lay just a standard size egg, and they lay the same. It's just another color. They're still good producers.
Okay. And Chad wants to know the typical adult size.
Large standard, probably around 10 ounces.
Okay. Savage Daughter Farm says, Rebecca, do you have any main focus or favorite from the collection?
I'm really excited to try to isolate Splash and see. I would love to see Splash with fawn, because I've seen some pictures from Katie and Tamara from Australia, and those were really beautiful. But as far as the Oz Snowies, I think the heterozygous sparkly fawn is just absolutely gorgeous. That would probably be my favorite.
Right. Jesse Ben Born says, what's the most difficult part of completing this collection? Maury, if you want to bring them out and let them in the backyard for a minute.
I think the most difficult part is probably isolating Splash, so I can have that as a separate line.
Okay, come here. Dogs are going nuts in the house. Oh, she knows I'm live, and usually she's with me in the other room. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, Tyler at Ravens Ridge Micro Farm says, what happens if you breed heterozygously?
It's actually recessive gene, at least the Oz Snow. Actually, Oz Snowy and Splash are recessive. So you will not see it in heterozygous.
Quiet. TSK Quail says, are some not feather sexable?
Correct. Their feathers. So Oz Snowy is a color gene. So it depends on what pattern genes it's paired with on whether or not it's feather sexable. So if it's on wild type, it's feather sexable because wild type is feather sexable. If it's with Tibetan, it's not. So
Okay. Let's see. Susanna says, for those of us getting shipped birds, what type of post-shipping care should we give the birds that are late on arrival?
yeah, that's a new thing. I just started offering ship birds. So one thing is that I can't provide water when I ship them. They're going to come with something for them to peck at that will help hydrate them a little bit, but they're not going to have any water. So that's going to be the big thing, is making sure they receive some water right away. And because they might be a little dehydrated, that's a good time to give them an electrolyte solution. Jeff Maddox has a really great one. I believe that the recipe is in the file section of Coturnix Corner. But it's a natural electrolyte solution using apple cider vinegar and molasses and I think crushed ginger. And that would be a good time to use that.
Cool. Gina says, what does the splash look like? Can you show us that in your screen share or not?
I meant to, but somehow forgot to put a picture of Splash in there.
Okay.
But basically, it's a white bird with a splash of color down the back. So it's kind of like a stripe of color, almost from head to tail. I think there's generally like a break between the head and the back. Um, and that splash of color can be, it's kind of like English white, where the spot on the head that shows through shows whatever the underlying color is.
Yep.
Splash is the same.
Jesse Van Born says, do you think more will come from this collection?
There's a possibility of Sandy being in it. So I'm hoping that someone who receives these eggs will find it, or perhaps I'll find it. I know that Michael Rose was looking for it and wasn't able to find it, and I haven't found it so far. So it may not be in there, or I just may not have tested the right bird yet.
Right. Andrew FPV says, question, are there any unique characteristics or behaviors associated with this new line that distinguishes it from others?
Nope. They're great birds. They lay well. They're healthy. They're strong. They're standard sized and really pretty. So
Good
just another
temperaments?
color. Yep. Good temperaments.
Cool. That was the next question. What are the temperaments of these birds compared to your others?
Yep. They're good temperaments. The cool thing about it is that Michael from Southwest Game Birds had them first, and Michael breeds heavily for temperament. So I get the benefit of having him work on them first.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Ashley says, question, did you have any trouble in the beginning with the hatch rates like you did with the Thieving Otter Farm Blacks? Nope. Okay, guys, we lost Rebecca. I'm sure she'll be right back on. Here she is. There you are. Did you hear
sorry,
that last
froze
question?
out there. Yeah. No, I didn't have any trouble at all with these guys. They have great hatch rates, and started out that way. Even shipped birds, of course, or shipped eggs can have lower hatch rates, and the ones that I got originally from Michael had a great hatch rate. So they've been great from the start.
Quail Poop Bingo is so fun. Quail Poop Bingo is the best night of the month. How often do you do that? Is it weekly? Or?
No, we do it the last Wednesday of the month.
Okay. Okay. Susanna wants to know, what bases do the Splash have?
The other pattern genes it's associated with, we've got wild type, um, we have fawn, sparkly fawn, EB. Trying to think if there's anything else in there right now. Oh, and calico.
Okay. Shelby wants to know, what's your ideal egg weight for incubation?
It depends on the line, honestly. I never want to choose eggs that are above average for the line in size. If they're super big, those tend to be double yolkers or something, and I want to make sure that the birds are able to pass the eggs. I ran into trouble once. I was trying to work on a standard line that laid these huge eggs, and I was working on trying to make sure that while I selected, I was selecting for wider pelvic bones. And I just got a little carried away in selecting for egg size, and the pelvic bones didn't catch up, and I ended up having to cull the line because they were starting to get egg bound or prolapse.
Yeah.
So you really have to be careful. So basically, I'm always trying to incubate what is average or maybe slightly above average for that particular line.
Okay. Shelby wants to know also, what is your ideal male to female ratio?
1 to 5, 1 to 6, depends on the line.
Savage Daughter Farm doesn't want any eggs this time. Let someone else win. Okay, TSK Quail says, do you keep the collections separate in color when breeding?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Jeremiah wants to know, what's your favorite color of quail?
Oh, that's a hard question. I love them all. Um, yeah, that's my problem. I want to have all of them. Yeah,
Gonna need a bigger barn.
I really am. Yeah, especially if Michael keeps coming up with new new things.
Right?
I think my all-time favorite so far was the hen that I showed a picture of in the presentation. It was my heterozygous sparkly ginger hen. She like glows. She's like a ray of sunshine, and it's just every time I walk by the cage, I just go, "Oh man, you're pretty." So she's my favorite.
Eric wants to know if you're jumbo browns from the JMF line.
They are. I'm not officially a partner farm. I haven't gone through the process with James Murray Farm to be a partner farm. So I can't advertise them as JMF, but I have received them from a JMF partner farm and have kept the line closed.
Yep. Matt wants to know, how does the gene react with English whites?
Exactly the same as any other gene with English white. So with English white, you're going to get a solid white bird with often a dot of color on the head and maybe the back. And so whatever that dot of color is will be the Oz Snowy that you'll see.
Okay. Jesse Benboren says, question, if you had to start the process all over again, is there anything you would do differently?
If it's specifically the Oz collection, I think the only thing that maybe I would do differently is when I had a smaller number of them just hatching, I think I would have test bred each one that had the potential for Sandy, to maybe see if I could pull that out from the beginning. But now I have a couple hundred birds of them, and it's a little bit harder to test breed.
And keep track of.
Exactly.
Okay, Mignon says, how cold can you let eggs get before they won't hatch? It's warming up, but overnight temps are still in the 30s.
I would say in the 30s, you're at risk of them freezing. And when if it's below freezing, upper 30s may still be okay. You just want to be careful if the egg membrane or the shell cracks is when you're going to have issues. I've successfully incubated eggs from the refrigerator, so It may lower your hatch rate a little bit, but worth a try.
Sure. Promised Land Homestead says, what was the inspiration behind the new line?
Michael Rose at Southwest Game Birds.
I was going to say that. I was absolutely thinking that when you said that.
Yeah. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have it.
Yep. Shelby says, can you speak more to your standards for body condition and what a breeder that is still learning should be looking for?
Oh boy. So I actually did a video not too long ago. It was, it's on my Facebook page, and it was a live video that I did. I was sorting birds, and I set up a camera, and it wasn't planned or anything like that. It's not scripted. What you see is me actually sorting birds. I'll reshare that video on my Facebook page, so that way you can see it, because that's going to be the better way to learn. I basically look at the bird from the tip of the beak to the tip of the tail. I look at eye shape, beak shape, the slope of the back, the width of the pelvis, the size of the legs. I look at everything about that bird before it goes into a breeding pen. So that video would be a good one to watch.
Okay, Desiree says, are the live jumbo gingers the same as the ginger hatching egg collection?
Yep, absolutely.
Alice says, question, are the jumbo celadons still in the works for this spring?
It may be late spring, early summer, possibly a little bit longer. Guys, I'm a perfectionist. And I keep wanting one more generation before I release them. Not because there's anything scary going on or anything like that. It's just I don't want to release something until I'm just super, super happy with it. So right now I'm double checking. I want to get a couple generations in to make sure they're absolutely positively true blue before I start selling. So that's where I'm at right now.
Andy Rabbit wants to know, is this your last surprise quail or are there more to come?
Well, the problem with the super secret surprise selection and having the fall and spring selections both being something brand new to the country and new genes is that it's kind of hard to keep topping that. So we got to get William to import some more birds. I'm actually looking at potentially doing some imports, but that may take a little while to get organized. But I do have some other tricks up my sleeve. They may not be something super super brand new, from like Australia, but they'll be pretty cool.
Promised Land Homestead says, how does the ginger compare to the German pastels?
Well, German pastels is a group of colors that were imported at the same time. So ginger is a color, German pastels are a color, and it really, it depends on where you get them from. So, somebody may have excellent silvers, or excellent roux or fee, and somebody else may not. So it's more, where are you buying them from, and what is that breeder doing with them?
Bob wants to know, how did William get them into the U.S.?
Well, William will have to do a show on that.
Absolutely. Okay, Sabrina says, question. With the ones that look almost fee, could you possibly cross with a Tibetan or Rosetta for darker coloring?
That was the last picture of my presentation that I showed was, it's kind of a reddish brown color. So they, the look of them changes depending on what other genes are involved. So it looks almost like fee on fawn, but may look differently on, paired with other genes.
Right. What makes the males have the reddish coloration versus the hens being darker?
That's just the way that particular gene works. It's beautiful. I love that reddish coloration.
Yeah, it looks nice. Farron says, could we hear more about the splash ones?
Well, not too much to say other than it's a white bird with a splash of color down its back and on the back of the head a little bit as well. So it's just another new gene brought here with that collection.
I've asked this question a few times. How do you get such good pics of your quail?
Well, if you take about 1,000 photos, at least one of them should be good. No, I did a whole presentation and it's on Coturnix Corner about how to take pictures of your quail. So you might want to check out that video. I've got some good tips on there.
Robin wants to know how many birds, or how many did you start out with, and how many are you up to now?
I started out with about a dozen quail that were given to me by a friend who decided she didn't want quail anymore. She offered them to me for free. They were just the wild type color. And I thought, well, sure, yeah, I'll try them. If I don't like them, I'll eat them. And then I learned that they came in other colors, and then I fell down the genetics rabbit hole, and now I probably have around, I don't know, after you get to this point, you lose track, but probably about 3,500 or 4,000.
Yeah. Just in case she's talking specifically about the Oz Snowies.
I started with probably about 30 and now have about 200.
Mignon wants to know, is there a supplement that will make Celadon eggs more blue?
No, unfortunately, that's just the way the gene works.
Right. We already answered that question. Is the German pastel collection based on a specific mutation or just combining known mutations?
So the German pastel collection was an import from Germany, and it brought a number of genes to the U.S. So you've got Rue and Fee. I want to say Silver and Andalusian, and maybe Blue. I want to say that there were multiple colors that were involved in that, but so it's not a single mutation or anything like that. It was a collection of colors that were brought here.
Bass Rider Farm wants to know also, are you planning a fall SSS?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Okay, Jesse Ben Bourne says, how do people get good wing pics of their quail? I haven't figured out the hold yet. Maybe you could do an instructional video showing how to do that.
That is actually part of the instructional video that I made. One of the things, oh, did I freeze?
Nope, you're good.
Am I back? I
You're
think
back.
I'm back. One of the things that I do is I will use the ground. Like I'll lay my bird down in some grass or some other leafy something, and I'll spread the wing out with one hand, hold the feet with the other, and use that grass or whatever that leafy stuff is that I'm putting it in to hold the wing out. If you just lay them down on a flat surface, they're going to pull that wing in right away. So that's how I cheat.
Yep. Okay, William says 3 in the UK had them. None of them 3 no longer do. 1 in Canada, not certain that they kept them either. So I guess they're talking about other people that got the Owl Snowies.
Yep, must be.
Mm-hmm. Aim for the stars, Rebecca.
Always.
Mignon says, I've heard there are 4 patterns of Coturnix, according to Southwest Game Birds. There is one, and that's not available to the public. Do you know what it is and why it's not released? And I'm not sure I understand that question.
Um, there's definitely more than four patterns. I know that there are, like panda is not currently in circulation.
Mm.
Um, there may be some others. I know like recessive black. There's a lot of things that were studied in laboratories, but not ever released to the public. So that's where like panda, that was studied in a laboratory, and at one point it was thought to be in the U.S., but then test breeding showed that it wasn't actually panda. So yeah, a lot of those are pretty to look at, but the pictures you'll see are from laboratory studies.
Okay. Reactor universe or reactiverse. Is there a quail mutation that causes black eggs? I want black quail that lays black eggs.
No, but if you find it, let me know.
Yeah, right.
That could be a new super secret surprise selection.
Let's see. Jessica says, "Hey Rebecca, what is special about Splash? And if you only get one, how would you go about breeding it to isolate the gene and make more?"
The special thing about Splash is that it's new to the country. So it's recessive. So if you only get one, you have to breed it to some other birds and then take the offspring and breed it back to the original Splash that you had. And 50% of the offspring will then be Splash.
Big Nine says, "Is it possible to select for egg pattern while breeding? What are the inheritance patterns of egg laying?"
Actually, you can select for egg pattern. Um, I do have certain lines that lay very particular patterns on their eggs. I've had it before where I've sent eggs and forgot to mark what varieties that they have, and I'll just say, "Send me a picture of the eggs," and I'll go, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's that." So,
Yeah.
yep, you sure can select them.
I had the same thing. I had some varieties that were laying very mottled colored eggs and others that were more speckly. And so I knew exactly which cage and which blinds it came from just by looking at the eggs. So.
Yep.
Let's see. Ashley says, currently looking at quail cage and trying to decide between making Terry's homemade version, hatching time, versus Winola Ranch. Would love opinions from those who have a variety of cages. I got two.
Um, I have
Very good
not
thoughts.
used any of those, so I honestly can't say. Terry, you want
I
to throw
think
your
I think
input in
yours are
there?
probably pretty close to the Winola Ranch type cage. I've had good
Potentially.
luck with my homemade cages and hatching time cages. I love the hatching time cages just for the ease of keeping them clean. They're so simple to keep clean. This is the question I had. Sarah says, "I heard you were working on clean pharaohs. Is that true? And when will they be available?"
So I am working on clean pharaohs. I had a slight setback. I was doing really great with them. Multiple, hold on, I'm writing something down. Multiple generations in, and was super happy. And then all of a sudden, I hatched out a generation, and there were males with sex-linked brown, and I nearly had a complete meltdown, pulled out all my hair, and went crazy, crazier. And then I decided to go through my pen and take a closer look and realize that at some point, one of my employees had found a rogue Jumbo Brown running around my quail barn and thought it was the same kind and stuck him in there. And so I had to go through and cull pretty much two entire hatches
Oh,
of
wow.
the project because I didn't want to risk
Right.
that sex-linked brown getting back into them. So, and then wait a full month after I removed him to make sure that there was no more of his influence with the hens. So, well, I'm a couple weeks out still of cleaning those up as far as after removing the rooster, and I'll start hatching again. So, I'm not going to release them until I know absolutely sure that they are clean. I don't want to call them clean and then have them not be clean. So you guys know me. I got to have them perfect.
I know exactly what you mean. Here's a good one. William Kyle Foster says cost: a federal court date, federal probation, and a fine to import. Shaking my head.
But
Well
thank you,
done,
William.
Well done. Tomorrow says, well done, Rebecca and crew. As always, have fun with your Aussie birds, everyone. If any onyx pops up, don't forget to call one Vegemite.
Love it.
Cool. Andy Rabbit says, wait, you're not using moonshine to clean your incubators anymore?
That was Jennifer from Bryant's Roots.
Oh, was it?
I drink moonshine. I'm not going to waste it on.
You're not going to waste it. Simplicity says, hi, Rebecca. First and foremost, thank you for all you do. When will you offer the all banded black orders?
I hope to offer them maybe this fall. With those, it's really hard. I've been a perfectionist with the size and shape of the band, and I keep ending up with white in the wing primaries, and I haven't wanted that. So I have to decide if I'm going to keep fighting that white and just keep prolonging the release, or if I'm just going to give up and have white winged blackbirds. So
white winged blackbirds. Child of God says, question may have been asked, but I did not hear a response. How large are the super secret birds?
come on, Terry, say it all. They're large standards.
Promised Land Homestead says, what is your favorite feeders and water system to keep away from waste and have a little mess?
I actually sell my favorite ones on my website. You can find them there. I found a no waste feeder that is just absolutely fantastic. It's similar to the J feeders, but has little fins on the inside to keep them from being able to sling their head back and forth and flick the feed out. I've had a lot of luck with those. And then I use an automatic watering system. And those work great as long as you hang the cups on the outside of the cages where they can't sit in the cups or get under the cups because they are gravity fed. But I like those a lot.
Are you still using the trough waters on the outside of the cage?
On my GQF systems, I do. I'm going to be changing those out because I don't know how those quail manage to poop in those troughs.
They can poop anywhere you want.
It's like magic. I don't know what they're doing.
I've had cages 6 to 8 inches away from the wall and still had poop splattered all over the wall. So they can do it.
I don't know how they do it.
They can do it. Let's see. Sunshine River Rabbitry says, question, best incubator for the middle budget, $300 to $400 that you would recommend. What percentage feed do you provide growing versus laying age?
So my go-to incubator is always going to be hatching time. I don't know if that falls into that $300 to $400 range. But if you can hold out a little bit longer and get one of those, it'll definitely be worth it. They're truly set it, forget it. You don't have to monitor stuff. You don't have to check humidity all the time. You just set it to what you want and it works. If you do want to stick in that $300 to $400 range, I would say I know Terry, you recommend Brinzy and Barato, right?
Yep.
I'm
leaning more towards Brinzia now than Baratos. I mean, I still use the Baratos, but I am finding there are some temperature variations at different levels. But they still work decent, you know. But yeah, can't go wrong with the Brinzies. So. But I will say that I talked to Ryan and Yagiz probably about a week or so ago, and they are working on a tabletop design very similar to the size of a Barato or a Brinzy. So.
Awesome. Okay.
And that's probably going to be right in that price range. So. Okay, Reactiverse wants to know when will the black quail eggs ship?
They're shipping now. So they were a little delayed. I kind of made a mistake. I made an announcement saying that my February subscription for Hatchery Choice was going to be black. And I had about 40 people sign up on the same day for 40 count eggs, and didn't have a way to shut that off. So um, I'm a little behind on those orders. And so I'm trying to catch up on those at this time. I guess it's not a bad problem to have, but I feel bad for all those people who ordered a monthly subscription and they're getting them in the wrong month. So
Okay. This question's been asked. Will there be any more super secret surprise selection collection in the future?
you never know what I have up my sleeves. So
Yeah.
yes.
Are the SSS a new mutation?
New to this country.
Jen Hinkle says, question, how many generations of breeding siblings together can be done before inbreeding becomes a problem?
So that depends. And what that depends on is how you select and what you have as far as in your gene pool. If you aren't selecting at all and you have a bunch of defects, inbreeding, brother to sister is going to consolidate those defects down and give you an awful, awful bird. And that's why a lot of people shy away from inbreeding. If you are doing very careful selection and removing defects, inbreeding can actually give you the chance to remove defects from your line and keep the really good birds that are not showing defects. So if you inbreed birds and you're consolidating genes and you get some that have some defects and some that don't, you can pull those ones that have defects out and breed the ones that don't, and consolidate those down a little bit more. And some will have defects and some won't. And eventually you can breed out all the defects or as many as possible out of your line. But it really, I wouldn't ever do inbreeding without, some very careful consideration and a breeding program.
Okay. Susanna says, how can we tell the splash apart from English whites?
It's going to be by the amount of color on their back. So Splash is going to have a big line down their back of color, where English White's going to be, a dot on the head and maybe a dot on the back.
Okay. Stephanie says, joining late, will we be seeing the adult versions of each color soon? Do you want to do a real quick run through on that screen share again? You have time for that?
Yeah, I was just thinking that might be something that I could do. We could just run through it again. I'm going to have to pull it up on my end because I closed it out.
Yeah, just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that again.
Okay.
As long as it's organized correctly. Which it's not. Cool. Let's
here's
try this
another
again.
question you can answer while you're doing that. Does the Tibetan have Oz Snowy in them?
So if you hatch them out and you get Tibetan, it is likely heterozygous for Oz Snowy. And if you either breed them together or breed them to an Oz Snowy, you will get some more. So these are out of order, but I think it'll be fine if we want to. Do I need to do share screen again?
What happened here? That should be the screen. There it is.
Okay, so like I said, they're out of order. When I closed out of it, it got things a little messed up, but we can flip through here. So this is Oz Snowy with wild type. And this is Oz Snowy Tibetan.
Wow, I would have never guessed.
Let's see. We'll flip through these and just go. So this is probably my favorite. This is Oz Snowy with one copy of Sparkly and the fawn gene. So Oz Snowy Sparkly Fawn. And this is a rooster. I love the spots, the color. It's just a really pretty bird. And this would probably be my second favorite. This is Oz Snowy Fawn Rooster. The roosters have the reddish coloration.
Mm-hmm.
And then back when somebody asked me what my favorite color was, this is that bird I was talking about. She's my little ray of sunshine. That's a ginger. All right, that's another picture of the Oz Snowy Sparkly Fawn. And those are young birds, so that's why they're on the small side. This is an Oz Snowy Hen. And this is a comparison photo of fawn, Oz Snowy on fawn. So you can see the difference between a rooster and a hen, which makes them really easy to feather sex.
Yeah, right.
This is what my first chicks from Southwest Game Birds look like. And another picture of those. I think that's all my pictures.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Alice says, is there a particular breed of quail that is better for beginners, or are they all the same standard?
So the quail that we're talking about is Coturnix, and Coturnix is the breed. And I would say that particular, that Coturnix would be, they happen to be my favorite. And then all these different colors that we're talking about are different colors of that breed. So it's kind of like you can have Labradors, and then you have chocolate labs, yellow labs, and black labs. They're all different colors of the same breed. So the big thing is not necessarily the color of the bird, but where you buy them from. One of the big things with Coturnix are problems with aggression. So you want to get birds from a breeder who takes the time to breed for temperament and culls aggressive birds, so you have less of a problem with that.
Exactly. Olive wants to know if the splash will be made available soon, hoping to beat the Cali heat. We could mix our order with other things like your cinnamons, calico, etc.
You can absolutely order the collection, the Oz collection, with other varieties. And then Splash is actually in that collection, so you have a chance of getting that. And then I'm working to be able to sell them separately if people want to do it that way.
That was my question, if you were going to have them as a collection or if they were going to be separate, eventually.
Yeah, right now they're a collection, and then eventually, since so many people are interested in them, I'll probably be offering them by themselves as well.
Okay, Vernon says, I have all standards at the moment. If I get any 10 ounce and over at 10 weeks, can I separate them to start a line of jumbos, or will I even get any 10 ounce at all?
Yeah, that's a good way to start. You take your largest birds, as long as they have good temperament and good conformation and all the qualities that you want, and breed those together and keep selecting in that same way. Terry, before you go to the next question, I just got a notice that my battery is almost dead. So I'm going to go grab my cord real quick. Okay?
Absolutely, not a
Talk
problem.
amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst ourselves. Andy Rabbit says, have you added any of them to the Coturnix Kids winners' eggs? That's a good question. We're going to have to find out if they'll be available in that group or not. We got quite a few questions. Guys, it's going on 8:30 right now, or it's 8:20. We'll probably go ahead and take a few more questions for Rebecca, and then do our giveaway, and then call it a night on this one. I've got company in from out of town, so I kind of have to spend a little time with them and not on my computer all night. One of my dogs out there? Oh. Tilly. Tilly. What? Tilly, come. Oh. Come here. Here, come and get her. Boy. And then you can come back for Cookie. I'm getting sore. We got a lineup of poodles over here that are all wanting to be part of the show.
Sorry about that. I recently moved my office downstairs and
Don't
forgot
feel
to
bad.
record.
My office got stolen from me.
Okay, back in business.
All right. Just been born says, Jesse been born, sorry about that. What was the chick that you pointed out to Tamara in the SSS group?
That was one of the Oz Snowy chicks.
Okay.
Yeah, Tamara and I were talking about some of the chicks had a little bit more brown on the head, so we were kind of comparing those.
Okay. Mignon says, have you posted any photos of the SSS? I'm new to CQ and some of these terms are over my head.
Yep. I think, he probably posted that before we went over them again. So, and I was a little sneaky and posted some of these pictures on my Facebook page and in the group a few times. So,
Just to see if anybody knew.
yep.
Andy Rabbit wants to know, will you be adding any of them to the Coturnix Kids winning eggs?
Sure.
Sneak in one or two. Andy Rabbit also says, will you explain how the best breeding practices on them, what's good to cross with them, what not, and will you be there to tell us what is what in the color mix?
Honestly, as far as crossing them, I haven't done a whole lot of crossing. There is still a lot of things we don't know as far as how it interacts with pansy. Well, actually, I think they have pansy in Australia. So, like silver, Andalusian, fee. There's a lot of varieties that they don't have in Australia. That will be fun to see how they interact. I have not yet done that.
Robin Robin says she purchased 20 of the SSS eggs and now have been in the incubator for 9 days. Can you tell me how many females and males you sent me?
Yes. Yep. I'm not telling you though. I could tell you, but no, I'm kidding. About 50% of each.
Right. Mignon says, question, if you have such a diverse collection and select out feather patterns, colors that you prefer, will you eventually get more of the ones you prefer, or will you start getting more, I don't know what WT is, EB, fawn, etc.?
So I selected them out when I first got the collection. There were a lot of different patterns and colors, and so I started dividing them out into, and separating them out according to their color and pattern. Um, so if you're at home and you have a group of birds and like certain patterns and colors, you can definitely breed towards those. Unfortunately, there are some that don't breed true. So if you're looking for a pattern that requires only one copy of the gene and you breed that to one just like it, then you're going to get some that have two copies of that gene and it may look different. Well, just kind of depends on what you're looking for.
This may be the person you were talking about. Tracy says, I received my shipped eggs, followed all the instructions, got 100% hatch on my SSS. Can't wait to see what they look like as they grow.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great work on her part to be able to get 100% hatch.
I've come close. Never got 100% though.
One time. I've had one time, and I've had two customers now that have had 100%. So that's pretty awesome.
Andrew says, have you encountered any unexpected or surprising results during working on this line?
Um, Not really. I guess the only unexpected result was getting the splash. I knew that Oz Snowy was going to be, pretty much what I'd be receiving, and it was a fun surprise to get the splash in there.
Okay. Jesse Van Born says, how many new lines are you currently working on?
That's a secret.
That's a secret. Sundial Fragrance says, what do you have to do to mix, or what do you have to mix to get calico quail?
Calico is a gene in itself, so you have to have that mutation in order to get that mutation.
Okay. Andy Rabbit says, how are they in het and homo? Is it visible in het?
It is not. It is a recessive. Well, Oz Snowy is a recessive gene, so you're not going to see it in het.
Mignon says, question, when you test breed, do you mean with genetic testing or just testing by observing subsequent generations?
That is by observing the generation. So right now, I don't know of anybody that can do actual genetic testing. But if somebody knows of a company that does that, let me know. I'd love to know about it.
Yeah. Olive says, I thought William Carl Foster wasn't breeding anymore. Am I mistaken? He always had the most interesting, beautiful birds. Yes, he has.
As far as I know, he is no longer breeding quail.
I don't think he is. Unless he's got some super secret surprise selection that he's not telling us about. Bass Rider Farm says, what is the official name of this collection?
It's going to be the Thieving Emu Collection.
Thieving? The what?
Thieving Emu Collection.
Oh, okay.
Emus are from Australia.
Gotcha. This one's for you, Maury. Hello, where did you get your quail from?
From Rebecca, Terry,
I believe Jennifer Bryant.
Jennifer Bryant from Bryant's Roost.
Jesse Ben Bourne says, how long do you usually use a breeding group?
I usually cull my groups between 10 and 12 months of age.
Mignon says, question, I hatched a chick from a purchased egg that had a severely crossed beak and head deformity. Is that from an issue with inbreeding, or is that likely a random problem?
So if you're talking about what I'm picturing, Michael Rose from Southwest Game Birds has said that that can be from a spike in temperature during before day 10 in incubation. So there may have been an odd change in temperature for that particular chick. And just sometimes they just don't form right. So.
Yep. Jesse Van Born says, why do some blues look silver and some look yellow?
It depends on what genes they're combined with. So like with, let's see, I'm trying to think of where blue would look yellow. With Andalusian, which sometimes people mistake as blue, if you have it with fawn, it can look kind of yellow orangish. But I don't really know of any instances. You're welcome to send me pictures. We'll put it that way.
Okay. Olive says, question, as a well-known breeder, is it worth the import cost to get genes from other countries? I imagine it wouldn't as a small local producer.
So the only reason why you'd necessarily want to import would be if you're importing something brand new that we don't have here. If you're just looking for like genetic variation, it wouldn't be worth it. The baseline cost, I started looking into importation. The baseline cost is $3,000, and then it continues to go up from there. And you have no guarantee that those eggs are going to hatch. So you could spend all of that money and still not have anything hatch. And we all know that can happen with shipped eggs. So if you're going to get something, it better be something really special.
Absolutely. William Carl Foster says you should have a few to release publicly if you got what Michael had.
You know, Michael always has tricks up his sleeve, so
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
he's like me. He's got to have all the varieties.
Yeah. Stephanie says, question, when will we be able to see pictures of all the color? Oh, we just showed them, so never mind that one. Ashley says, starting to wonder if that quail you posted a picture of with 3 or 4 dots down the back was a splash.
So I know exactly which one you're talking about. That was the one that one of our customers named Miss Mary Mack, and she was not a splash. She was an English white that just happened to have some extra coloring on her back. And I actually did start working on a line of those before I got splash. So some chicks in my assorted may have hatched out with some extra spots on their back, but it was just English white.
Andrea Blue says, what resource did you find most helpful to use to learn quail genetics from?
Honestly, it was figuring out who knew what they were talking about in the quail world, and watching whenever they post, reading whatever they wrote, and becoming friends with them. Probably the best resource I've ever had is being friends with Michael Rose. I'm very grateful that he puts up with all of my questions and like 3-hour talks on the phone when I want to talk quail. So,
Sure.
but that would be the big thing, would be just getting in those groups and figuring out who knows what they're talking about.
Okay. David Smith, Hazy Bees Honey says, I know this isn't a quail question, but where are you on your new chicken breed? I was just going to ask you about that because I just saw a post on that too.
Yeah. So I've got actually 2 of them. One I've am much further along the lines with, and then one I'm still. They're genetic soup, and I'm getting all kinds of stuff, so they're going to be a lot of work. But the other one is the Tennessee Whitney. And right now, I'm hatching out the second hatch of the year from this current generation. And so far, it looks like they're going to breed true, which is a great step in working with a new breed. Super excited about those.
Yeah, and I was reading something about you said if they've recognized that breed, you will be the second only woman to create a
Yep.
breed. Really?
Yeah. So right now, of the recognized breeds in the APA, only one of them has been developed by a woman, and that's the Buckeyes. And I have this silly dream of having the next breed that was created by a woman in the APA.
Oh.
Yep.
Jesse Limborn says, do you have that one quail that is more like a pet?
I I actually have it's not a Coturnix, but I have a button quail in my living room that is
Oh, it
that
is?
is a pet. So yep.
Cool. Andrew says, question, are there any lines that have characteristics like chickens, such as feathered feet, crest, silky feathers, etc.?
No, I know that in Australia, there's a curly feathered gene that does create a different feather pattern. But I think that's about it as far as cool oddities with plumage and stuff.
Okay. Laviathan, I'm sorry I said that wrong. New to this, is a reverse tuxedo possible?
No, I don't think so. If you're meaning the white on the back and the dark coloration on the breast and stuff, I don't believe so. White tends to follow the ventral aspect of the bird, meaning the bottom of the bird. It's just kind of how white works.
William Carl Foster says German pastel collection was sent here from a Belgian breeder that traveled to Germany to acquire eggs. I believe was 18 or 22 in the original imported hatch.
I'm so glad that William's watching tonight, so he can
I am too.
inform us on all this. This is great.
Yep. Promised Land Home says, what is your overall goal with quail, or do you have one?
My goal is I want to better my birds with each generation. So that would be my overall goal. I love working with new colors and I love working with mutations and stuff like that. But my goal is that every generation I produce is better than the one before it. So
Katie Galley's in the house, says hi, popping in late from Australia. Glad you could join us,
hi,
Katie.
Katia.
Stephanie says, question, when will we be able to see? Oh, we already said that. Sorry. From broadcast. Sabrina says, how long did it take you to go from 30 to 200 given your strict breeding preferences and hard culls?
I culled a lot of birds. Now the good news is that because I already got these from Southwest Game Birds, who also culls hard and has a strict breeding program, I didn't have to be as strict as I would have been had I been starting with. Did I freeze up? Okay, I think I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
How much of that did you hear, Terry? Okay.
Most of it.
I'll just repeat that. Yeah, I was lucky to have started with birds from Southwest Game Birds, and he's about as strict as I am, if not more strict. So it makes it a lot easier when you're starting a line with good quality birds. Had I started with poor quality, I would have had to cull a lot more.
Okay. I'm kind of skipping over some of the question, guys, because a lot of these questions have been asked multiple times, and we're running a little late here on time. Emily W. says, what about the Cherry Baiter? They're still available. If you're interested in one, check out GulfCoastQuail.com. Sabrina says, so I did the subscription on February 19th and asked for them to ship with my Oz Snowy. My March subscription is pending as of today. Will they arrive at the same time, or should I expect to stagger a hatch?
You can send me a message and we'll figure that out.
Okay. Andy Rabbit wants to know, can we breed one color of them together, or do we need to breed in a collection only?
No, you can single them out and breed a specific variation if you want.
Yep. I don't know if you know the answer to this one or not. Nikki says, super random, but do you know if they still raise a lot of quail in Japan, like they are still actively working on new lines? Google is no help.
Nope, sorry, that's not something I know.
Nope, me neither. Backyard Quail Keeper says, are you hatching anything special for Easter, Terry? Maybe some Rhode Island Reds. That would be about it right now. Canterbury Bay. Let's see. Bob says, thanks for hosting Rebecca tonight. Always good info from her. Absolutely. Okay, guys, that brings us pretty much down to the bottom of our questions. Rebecca, have you selected a winner for the 30 count?
Yep, we're going to go with Sarah Sievers.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Sarah Sievers?
Sarah?
Yep.
Okay, Sarah, if you are still in here, I need you to email me your information. Basically, just send me an email, and what I'll do is I will send you a link to the Thieving Otter Farm website where you can place your order for a free 30 count, correct, Rebecca?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, and cool. We are down to the bottom of the list, and that worked out great, and the dogs are driving me crazy again. So I am going to pull the plug on it. Rebecca, thanks a lot. I'm glad. You don't know how many times I wanted to spill the beans, but I kept my mouth shut. But no, it's cool, and I'm glad we did this. We got to do it on the next one too. So
yeah, that would be great.
So thanks for joining us, Maury. Thanks for joining us.
I'm worried.
You guys
All right.
have a great night. Thanks again, everybody. Don't forget to join us Sunday for morning musings. And again, thanks to Ayla for her Coturnix Kids submission. So, guys, have a great night. I really appreciate you joining us, and we will see you on Sunday.